Welcome,
Hello,
welcome,
David.
welcome.
Good evening to Vi Todd. He's got a comment in already. And good evening to Les Stevenson. Les is over there in Toronto. Oh, I've just got an echo from somewhere, David.
You've got Facebook, haven't you?
That's what it is. Gosh, I'm glad you're here to help me out with the technical stuff.
I'm not.
Good. How are you getting on?
Anyway, I'm doing fine.
Have you had a good week?
Yes, today's been fine. Nothing major to report. Just been booking more guests, really.
Right. Great. Yes, I noticed you've got a couple of new guests lined up.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got quite a few. It's brilliant. Listen, folks, we're going to have a fantastic tonight. Thanks for joining us. Please hit the share button. Let us know where you are. There's Mary in California. From a sunny but chilly, if only.
And there's Joe from a chilly but chilly Stromness.
Yeah, exactly. Chilly and wet like here, probably. Anyway, folks, please hit that share button. Share to all your friends and let us get this going. It's fantastic. We're live tonight on 3 Facebook pages. We're on Tartan Tunes, we're on Peterwood Music, and we are on Tunes in the House. And
is this your third gig of the day, isn't it, Peter?
Third gig today, yeah. We're on, there's Ali Meek, evening, Ali Meek, brother Meek there. And we are, what was I going to say? Yeah, we're also on YouTube. So if you fancy watching us on the big screen, get onto YouTube and get the telly working. That'll be good. We look even better on the big screen, I think.
We're kind of looking worse.
No, can't get much worse. But anyway, yes, my third gig. This is my third gig of the day in the shed. Not in the shed. I haven't been here all day. Done the saxophone. I was up and done the saxophone sessions up at the Space Camp tonight.
Saxophone sessions, yep.
And then I have just been to Cullevo Primary School, piping the haggis in for them. And then it's actually a school I teach in for music. And the children, I think it's 8 or 9. Okay, 8 or 9 children in that school. That's all there is at Cullevo Primary. And these guys can sing like a storm. You should hear them singing. Absolutely brilliant. They sound like about 30 bairns, the whole singing. It's just amazing. And so they had a wee burn supper tonight. And usually they've never had a piper ever, because there's no pipers up here. There's hardly any, but I've moved up to the hill. So I took the pipes, but they're all prepared. They had 2 fake sets of pipes made up, and they usually just march into a CD, a couple of the kids. So this year they were able to march in with me with their fake pipes. And then the girls come in and they addressed the haggis. And they sung various different songs tonight as well. A lot of wee entertaining songs, and they recited To a Moose, the whole poem. Not just the first verse, the whole hoose moose bit. So off I get to see that. And then we've come on this show and we've got that amazing fiddler Ryan Young on with us tonight as well.
Because the thing is, what folk don't remember is that you have recently changed jobs.
Yeah.
You're no longer a visiting music instructor, you are a music teacher.
I'm a music teacher in the junior high schools in Yale and Uns. I'm covering a maternity leave, so I was seconded over. So how my pipes were sounding awesome, Derek. They were sounding really good. If I could just play them, but they're sounding awesome. But anyway, no, it's great. So it's really good. And just fantastic to see all the bairns joining in. Then 5 of the 8 played the fiddle as well, and played the Brun Coo and all that tonight as well. That's not a bad percentage, eh? Not a bad percentage. So I was telling them that we've got Ryan Young on tonight, and they should all listen to that as well. Because up in Shetland, there's still I think there's about 300 children get fiddle lessons in the school every week on the cards. So it's quite good, yeah. It's great. So
pick a number. Pick a number between 1 and 5.
Did I tell you, or did I keep it quiet?
No, you have to tell me, and I'll tell you a fact about Robert Burns.
Between 1 and 5?
Yep.
4.
4. Although he is now internationally renowned, tragically, he reportedly died in poverty with just £1 to his name.
I'm surprised he had as much as that. How many wives he had and divorces and things he'd been through. It's a wonder he had £1. You wouldn't have £1 nowadays, I'll tell you.
No, you'd have £0.50. Go on,
the only thing I think strange sometimes, you know how you get men only bun supper still occasionally nowadays.
Yes, most of them are technically still men only.
Yeah, Robert Burns wouldn't have been for that at all.
No, he was.
He'd have wanted the woman there. He'd have wanted the woman, I'm sure.
Okay, here's fact number 2. Burns fathered 12 children. 9 of them to Gene Armour.
Oh my God! Awesome. How did he ever get round to time to write poems?
Well, fact number 3 for you. He ended up writing 716 poems or works. He started writing at the age of 15.
In between making children.
You only need 30 seconds for that, Pierre. Come on, you should know that.
Don't tell everybody. Right. Anyway, so for that. Right. So since it is Burns, and we're not actually doing a Burns night as such this year because next week's up hell yeah. So here's a wee set of marches that I recorded at one point in time with some scenery and things, and it's just some Burns marches. But the first one isn't. The first one's the story of Robbie Burns that was written about him as a kind of compliment to him. So here you go. There we go. A little set of marches. The Dougs made it.
Early.
Yeah, started scratching the door outside my shed. So, yeah, we set of Buns Marches for you there with some Shetland scenery. It's been interesting. I've been working just on classwork. We've been talking about Old Lang Syne with the primary kids at the schools because I think Old Lang Syne's an interesting song because a lot of the kids didn't know what it means and what the words actually mean. Stand there and sing it at the end of a wedding or something like that, but they don't know what it means. So we've been looking at it, and one of the things we found was a map of all the places Robert Burns has been in Scotland.
Just in Scotland?
But he never made it to Shetland.
No.
So the kids here are very, never made it here. So anyway, that's cool. So, yeah, Joe, I think you're probably right. I think I did play some of that tunes in the 6 word sessions today as well, actually.
You did?
Yeah. I didn't make twice the amount of money for it, though. I just still get out. That's all right. So.
You and your money. Forget about money. It's not about money. Just know that by now.
Les Stevenson is asking who is the third host?
That's a guest. So.
Oh, the guest, yeah. Yes. Our guest tonight, the one and only. Really been looking forward to this chap coming on. I've been after him for a wee while, and it's great to get Ryan to come on. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall introduce you to this fiddle phenomenon. Oh, that was quite difficult to say. Phenomenon. That could have went nastily wrong, but it didn't. Mr. Ryan Young, let's bring him on. Ryan.
Oh, hello. Thank you for having me.
That? Did you like that? The fiddle phenomenon. Fiddle phenomenon.
It's very kind.
Yeah. How are you getting on? Are you doing fine?
Yeah, not too bad. Just keeping busy, really. Playing away.
I see you're in Cardross tonight, so that's really nice. Just outside Glasgow for all you overseas visitors, near Helensburgh.
So
you can't be that far away Fastlane either, then, are you?
No, it's very, very close, just round the corner, really.
Yeah.
Too far away.
Great. So anyway, there's lots of folks in. Welcome, Ryan, already. So I think, Ryan, what we're going to do tonight is just blast into a wee set of tunes. We'll bring you on, we'll say hello, and then we'll come back. Let this wonderful audience, worldwide audience of ours here, and there's lots of them watching tonight, by the way, it's fantastic. By the way, that was videos of Shetland there. That's what you'd have to put up with if we managed to get you up here someday. It's quite a pretty place. So our first wee set we're going to have for Ryan tonight, Davey, is what have we got?
We've got the White Houses of Shieldig.
Tell us a wee bit about that, Ryan.
Well, I'm a big fan of this book called The Sky Collection. Yep. So there's a lady in Cardross who's always greatly supported me in my playing, and it's a wee lady called Katie who comes from Skye.
Right.
So I've always been kind of drawn to Skye tunes, and I found 2 of these tunes in this book, and then the first tune is by the late great Jerry Holland, who's fantastic. It was fantastic fiddle player, fantastic composers.
Certainly was. Some of the best tunes going there. So let's go over it. Here is Ryan Young playing the fiddle for you, and you'll be enthralled and want to stay with us for the rest of the night and tell all your friends about it.
So. Here we go.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Yeah, really good. One thing that I love there, Ryan, and it's so obvious, and there's people putting in comments about it already, is that you get so into it, it becomes like an emotional journey, a set of tunes to you. And you make it like a story that people didn't want to put the book down, which is fantastic. And that idea, when you're saying there about Lights of the Sky collection, that's wonderful. All these old tunes and different tunes that are not about, but then you put your own little twist on them and bring them back. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. Really good.
Yeah. Well, somebody messaged me just yesterday asking me the name of a tune. And I was trying to tell them that, like, I can give you the name of it, but all the tunes I play, it's very much an impression of that tune in some ways. And that, like, because I've, like, subconsciously changed them quite a lot. Like, I would never set out to do it. It's just the more you play it, the more they evolve.
You develop.
So, like, it's like I'll stop playing a certain tune if the next time I play it is exactly the same as it was the last time. So if I play it changes, I'll keep playing it.
That must be really annoying when you're trying to record an album, though.
It's really annoying for accompanists as well.
You don't know. Do you compose about yourself as well? Or?
Well, I've written a few tunes, but I've always kind of felt like there are so many brilliant tunes out there already. So it's I kind of always feel it's like there's no need for me to write a tune. It's just
there's an interesting thing just when you're talking about how tunes evolve, though. Somebody asked me for a tune that I wrote about 30 years ago, and I played it to them, and they went, "But that's not how you wrote that." And I said, "Yeah, it is." And then they dug out music they'd had for 30 years ago, and I had evolved the tune itself. There was certain wee measures on it were doing different things and different accents than I was using when I actually wrote it. It's amazing. You do that to your own tunes, if you can. What I mean.
Yeah.
So it's like keeping them fresh. So taking you right back to when you were a youngster, what age did you start playing fiddle at then?
So I was about 9 or 10, that kind of age.
And what made you want to take up the fiddle?
It's quite a long story, which I'll try saying a succinct.
Okay.
So it's like when I was at school, the violin was offered, and I had no idea what a violin was. I just kind of it was offered, so it's like, well, I'll go for that. And then the teacher at the time, I was a wonderful teacher when I was in primary school, and I was very, very quiet and very shy, and she didn't think I would be kind of like confident enough to play something that you need to be quite confident with. And then I sang to her, and because she hadn't really heard me speak, and the fact that I was willing to sing to her, she decided that, okay, you can play the violin. You really want to do this. But then I heard Ali Bain playing on the Hogmanay show, and it was the first time I'd heard like the fiddle rather than the violin. Hearing Ali Bain play in the way that like the fiddle kind of became his voice, and me being like a kind of very quiet child, I liked the idea that like an instrument could be your voice. So it was after hearing Ali play, that was when I knew that I really wanted to do it.
And that's interesting as well, because I mean, I know Ali quite well, obviously, for Shetland and Phil and them. But when Ali and Phil are on stage together, Ali doesn't particularly say that much. He's the same way, isn't he? He's quite shy. He just sits there and doesn't.
Does he get a chance?
He doesn't get a chance. But it's true though. He just kind of he's quite happy just to sit there and come out with one wee funny bit every so often or something. He's quite a quiet guy sometimes, and I mean I've been fly fishing. He loves that kind of thing, going out in a loch and standing there fishing and thinking about things. And that's interesting though that you found somebody that you liked hearing that thinks that same way as you did.
Well, they say that the fiddle is one of the closest sounding instruments to the human voice too. So I do kind of like that thought as well.
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
Yeah, I would rather go out with a girl that sounded like a fiddle than one that sounded like a set of bagpipes.
Peter.
What?
How's Karen's ribs?
Karen's got 3 broken ribs. My wife's got 3 broken ribs, and it was nothing to do with me before anything starts. She tripped over a curb in the dark, and it's broke 3 ribs.
So let's fast forward from when you starting off on the fiddle and bring it up to around about 2015, 2016, where you were a finalist in the Young Trad Musician of the Year. So that's a 2-time finalist, which is it's hard enough to get there once, and you got there twice. How was the build up for that for you? Was it kind of a spur of the moment thing, or were you really kind of set on doing that?
Well, I've had so many wonderful teachers over the years, and I'd watched some of my teachers when I was wee, kind of entering and being in this competition, and it's always been something to aspire to. So I just kind of thought, well, why not? I'll give it a go. They can only say no. And then I somehow got in, and then somehow got to the final and stuff. But it's a lovely thing. It's quite a daunting, stressful thing. Before the final the second time, I remember I was very, very ill. And just before I'd actually gone on stage to do it, I'd been lying on the floor just before playing. So kind of got off the floor, went on and played, came back off and lay back down again.
That's one way to do it, I suppose.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a set here. So we'll play the set and then we'll talk about the tune selection afterwards.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say you nailed that.
I know that when you hear your voice back in a recording and you go, "Oh, I don't sound like that." That's kind of how I feel when I see videos or hear myself playing. I think because I'm so in it. That's the thing. And then when you hear it back,
I can't sing. I can't sing, and I always think I don't sound anything like I sound when I hear a recording back either. Just like you're saying, I'm kind of like, what? Do you sound like that? I don't know what that is.
I've got a similar issue where the voice I hear right now is not the voice I hear when I listen back to the show. I can't listen back to the show at all.
No,
because I'm not. No, not at all. I know I have an accent, but it's not the accent I think I have. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Apologies to everyone who thinks I've got a bad accent.
But Ryan, stepping back, you then started to go for fiddle tuition, I take it, to somebody for Scottish stuff or traditional stuff.
Yeah. But I stayed with the primary school teacher all through school too as well. So we had kind of classical lessons at school. So there was a big group of us, and it was like a 20-minute lesson or something like that with 9 of us in the lesson.
Right.
Okay.
And then I went.
How did you find that? How did you find that for learning? Did you find you learnt much in that group setting?
Because I was very, very shy and quiet at school, so I think it would have been a bit too much for me personally if it had been like a 1-to-1 lesson at that stage.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah.
But then after that, I went along to the Helensborough and Lomond Fiddlers, they were called.
Right.
And then they had a junior section, and a great fiddle player called Ailey Steele used to teach us in a group there. Yeah. So it was it was like similar to the classical lessons I had, but this time it was fiddle tunes being taught in a group.
Right.
And then I went to the junior RCS, and I got my first kind of 1-to-1 fiddle lesson then.
Okay.
And then I went
Who
to
was that with?
So I've had so many teachers. So I had it was Sarah Jane Summers was the first one. So I had Sarah Jane Summers there, and a lady called Kirsty Cotter too was another one.
Okay.
And then I went to the senior RCS, and I had Alistair McCulloch, Pete Clark, and Marie Fielding, who also taught me when I did a master's. And I had Greg Lawson too when I did the masters as well.
Well, the first 3 there that you mentioned have all been guests on the show, so that's good. Pete, Marie, and Alistair. I've known Alistair since he was a wee boy, and he's a great player. Alistair's a lovely boy.
Yeah.
He's only got one thing: he supports Rangers. That's the only thing.
Somebody has to.
I had to bring that up, but and I've known Marie since we were just the same age together and grew up through this scene. So it was, and we had Pete Clark on. Pete was really interesting the night we had him on with speaking about the Neil Gow stuff and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So, but so involved with the Helensborough and Lomond Fiddlers, but still doing group work. It must have been a giant leap for you then to suddenly want to start playing solo.
Well, the thing is, like, I always played a lot on my own at home. I didn't have kind of people to play with at home. Like I didn't, like, my brothers and sisters didn't play the fiddle, so I couldn't sit and play tunes with them, sort of thing. So it never felt that daunting to me, really, to play on my own, sort of thing.
Were your brothers and sisters musical at all, or?
Well, like my sister played the flute for a while, but my sisters were more dancers, and my brother was more football and golf and things like this.
And was there any music in your family, parents or grandparents?
Well, my dad's always played the guitar, but it's very much kind of blues he'd be interested in. So I tend to slide on notes quite a lot, and I have this kind of feeling that I got it from hearing my dad do it when he played the guitar, and it was just kind of me trying to imitate that in some ways.
Makes sense.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely fantastic, really, really good. Now, we were speaking just before we come on air, and there's a couple of tracks you sent me, and through the week you were saying I'd really like these to be on, and you mentioned Dennis Gale, and you said to me in one message, you really looked up to this Dennis, and when you got tuned play with him in the end, it was something special. So how did that come about? How did you get influenced by Dennis or meet Dennis? Or
well, again, all these kind of stories I have are very long, so I try to keep them kind of succinct.
That's okay. Just edit at your discretion.
Yeah, well, it kind of is related to the Young Trad in some ways, because the first year I did the Young Trad, it was on BBC Alapa, and this kind of lovely couple who are now like very good friends and give me lots of encouragement and support, got in touch with me after I played in the final on that, and it was on BBC Alapa, and they had been helping out at a festival in Feakle in County Clare, which is where Martin Hayes is from. They're great lovers of Irish music, and they just tried to help the festival out in any way they could. So they did like the website for them and stuff like this. And unknowing to them, I'm a huge Martin Dennis fan, and they said, "How would you like to play with Dennis Cahill?" So I was kind of like, yes, I'd love to if this is real, if you're not winding me up right now. And then just kept talking to them, and then lo and behold, it did happen. And I got over and met Dennis and played with them. So,
well, we're going to have a wee set of tunes with the two of us, with Dennis Cahill and Ryan Young. And we'll speak about the tunes after it again.
Here we go.
Yeah, really
Right.
good. Right. Well, that was driving. That was not stopping. So, all these, I must tell you, I always remember the first time I actually saw you in person was at the Trad Awards in 2017.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was up for an award for dance band or something, and you won the upcoming one.
Yeah.
Careful.
And I remember you being away up the back somewhere. I remember what it was like getting through these chairs and tables and that. Ryan had about the longest battle through these tables and chairs that seemed to go on for ages. I think
Yeah.
the folk at the front thought he had gone home or something like that, but then he just turned up. But that was a great night as well. But that was the first night. So I noticed you said yourself you've got an honours degree. Is that in the what's that degree in then? That's in
What's that? A BA in Scottish music from
Scotland.
yes. Well, I was always desperate to get a degree from the RSAMD, and then
Right.
the year I graduated, and on my degree they changed the name, so it's the Royal Conservative Party of Scotland.
Typical, yeah. Typical. Well,
Can I get a reprint, please?
At least it's I've got UHI. That's all. I did the applied music AHI one. UHI one. But I noticed you done your masters. What's your masters in that?
So that was an M.Mus in music performance. So it was kind of like a performance degree, but specialising in Scottish music.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So like I did a lot more playing in that degree. Like the BA one, there was a lot of playing, but this one there was a lot more. So I was over to Limerick a fair bit and did recitals over there, and then did recitals in Glasgow and stuff. And lots of playing.
And you obviously you're touring about a lot now, and I've watched you on Facebook, etc. And you've also got your own website up and running. Ryan's website, folks, is really worth a look. It's very well laid out, and it's an excellent website. So if you fancy going on and checking out, CDs and things are for sale on there, aren't they, Ryan?
They are indeed, and there's a second one coming in March as well. So
I was going to speak to you about that. I noticed somewhere it was mentioned that you were going to record another one. But so where are you heading to record that then?
Well, it's been recorded is the thing. So
it's,
so it's getting mixed at the minute is the thing. So it's been mixed. I have a good friend, Jesse Lewis, who recorded my first album.
Right.
So this time around, the second was recorded by Ross Saunders in Glasgow, but it's been sent to Jesse, who's mixing and mastering it. So
that's fantastic. So I think through the week you were telling me as well. So you quite often you've quite variation in who's accompanying you. Sometimes you have different people accompanying you, in that rather than being a straight set duo all the time. So or trio or band, whatever. So you've been really, really lucky to work with some of these great accompanists as well. So when it comes to making an album, what do you do then? Do you get different folk onto the album, or?
Well, kind of, yes. So like my first album, there was a guitarist called Leo Ford on that one, and James Ross on the piano. James was one of my teachers when I went to the junior RCS.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And remember the first time I ever played with James, I always said to myself, if I ever get to make an album, I want to make an album with James, is the thing. So it was just very special to do the album with James there. And then the second album I've just recorded with my friend Craig Irving on the guitar.
Okay.
So I like playing with people I immediately have a connection with, in that like you don't need to talk about things too much. You just kind of play and it all just seems to like fit. It just kind of sits is the thing.
Well, the last when you were sitting there having a tune with Dennis, the next track we're going to hear you're having a tune with outstanding guitar player Jen Butterworth as well. And I remember having Jen on the show as well when we were on. And she's a fascinating woman as well, because she's working at the Royal Conservatoire as well, and steeped in the music. I don't know how she gets time to work, by the way, when she's playing so much. She seems to just gig constantly, and I see her at festivals all over the place. And but yeah, so this is a wee set with yourself and Jen. So do you just? I take it you just sit down, have a good tune, and enjoy it, kind of style thing.
Well, yeah, it's kind of sit down, have a good tune, and like a lot of the people that I play with, they know that I'm very into minimalism is the thing.
Right.
So like I'm a big fan of kind of less is more.
Mm-hmm.
And like, even when I play the tune itself, I don't do too much with it really. Like there's not loads of grace notes, there's not loads of kind of stuff going on. I just kind of play the tune. So I like the idea that accompaniment can be like that too.
Yeah. And I find sometimes, and I mean, it works, it's okay, but it works sometimes for some people. But you know how a lot of the bands do a set of tunes now, but between each tune there's a great huge link or something like that before you get into the tune or something. And some people like it, but there's a lot of people say, why are you not just playing a set of tunes in a style thing? You know, that's...
What?
So everybody to their own. So there's space for that, and there's space to sit down and play a set of tunes. I mean, here in Shetland, for instance, if you sit in a session, there's no way Andy would sit and suddenly do a ad lib thing for a minute and a half before they went into the next tune. You know, you could get yourself thrown out the lounge for that. You know,
the tunes speak for themselves a lot of the time.
Exactly.
And that, like, the main thing is trying not to get in the way of them. Is how I look at it. So. Like I always feel that when I'm playing, if I become too aware of myself when I'm playing, then I'm doing something wrong. I should be more aware of the tune itself, sort of thing.
Yeah. I like that idea, and I agree with what you said. It doesn't have to be hugely complicated accompaniment, because if the accompaniment becomes too dominant, it does take over for the melody, etc. You've lost it. Because I think the main thing still has to be the really strong melody at the front, doesn't it? It just has to be that. It carries. If it can't carry itself, it's not much point in playing it. Kind of
and I don't like making one thing like giving a thing a definite tonality sometimes. For any non-musicians out there, like the difference between, say, A major and A minor, they both have an A and an E in the A chord, but A major's got C sharp and A minor's got C. So I'd quite often ask for an A5, which takes away that C altogether. So that instead of an A, it could equally be an A major or A minor, and you're not kind of forcing it to be one or the other.
Yeah.
Which is interesting when you look at classical music as well. Lots of the string accompaniments were written like that. They were written with playing first and fifth. The third was never involved at all. Really was, because probably for that exact reason as well, because it's leaving it to the imagination. What are you going to put in the middle bit there? You know? And sometimes if you put a flattened third in or something, it can just overbear the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, it's quite often what I think sounds like a sad tune. Someone else will say it sounds like a happy tune, and then vice versa. So.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's expressive. Yeah, excellent. Here's Ryan and Jen playing some tunes. That is fantastic, Ryan. Absolutely brilliant. Your music comes across to me as someone that is not, well, you're in total control, you're enjoying it, and it's like an extension of what you're feeling inside, and it's just coming out. There's no force, there's nothing forced there, it's just happening.
It's a conversation, isn't it? It's a conversation you're having with yourself and the fiddle.
Yeah. And the two of you were bouncing off each other. You could tell even there you were connecting as musicians, and it was just happening. Brilliant. Very good.
I was gonna I make very kind of weird faces when I play, which you might start to notice now that I've kind of pointed it out. And I kind of feel that tends to happen if I don't think too much. Mm-hmm. It's just all like the music kind of takes over you in some ways and kind of
fantastic
start to happen that you have no control over, and it's almost like the tunes kind of play how they want to be played. So it's not like it's not like I'm not doing anything.
It's like Dave comment there just saying total natural. It is. It's just natural. It's not forced. It's not. You're not making it be that. You're letting it be what it needs to be.
Yeah. Well, it's like I think like anybody could play like anything that I play. Like the things I play aren't that difficult really. They're all kind of simple tunes. I think it's just these tunes are so well written. All these really old tunes that they kind of tell you how they want to be played, and they play you in a lot of ways. That's the thing.
I think you've been exceptionally modest saying anybody could play that, but they maybe could play the melody, but they couldn't actually play it like you're playing. There, to be honest. Dave Cormack's just put a wee thing. What was the first tune there? He was wondering.
Oh, so it's got a few names. So lots of the tunes I play, they have a Scottish name and an Irish name, which is a total coincidence. So in Ireland, that tune is called O'Sullivan's March, but in Scotland, it's called either The Rock and We Pickled Tow, or The Old Woman Tossed Up in a Blanket is also the same tune.
I was sitting listening to it thinking I know that tune. It's The Rock and the Wee Pickled Tow, and yeah, absolutely. That's back to Mr. Piper, our friend, Mr. Miller.
Oh, Ross.
Ross, of course, that was his tune.
Town Piper.
The Tow, yeah. So, of course, when he was Town Piper, was that Stirling? Linlithgow. And that was their theme tune. But anyway, brilliant. Wonderful. Really nice tune. Noticed you playing at Womack's there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Womack's.
Yeah, so.
And we had another guest on, well, maybe about a year now ago, a chap called Morgan Toney, a fiddle player from Cape Breton. And Morgan was heading the weekend after to play at Womack's in Portugal.
Oh, okay.
And he was over doing that, and he just absolutely loved it. Sandra Maycox just said that she knows The Rock and the Pickled Tow as The Old Man Tossed in a Blanket. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
You can't see us. I remember an Irish band coming to play once at a folk festival in Shetland. And you've heard of the great Shetland fiddler, of course, Willie Hunter. And Willie Hunter wrote some fantastic tunes. He wrote a lot of tunes. But this Irish band came over, and you know what the Irish are like when they don't ever know the names of tunes and all that. Anyway, they plunked themselves down the stage, and we're going to play this set of Irish polkas, they called it. And everybody was saying, "Oh, this band's great, that's great." And then they went into the third tune, which they'd announced as something like the Kerry polka or something like that. And it was actually a Willie Hunter tune. There was a reel that Willie had wrote that called Ray's Classic. It kind of went but the way they played it, of course, they played it as a polka. But it was the same tune. And the whole audience, imagine doing this in Shetland, the whole audience kind of went, "Oh, where? That's Willie Hunter tune. You're not getting away with that, boys." So that was it. The poor guys, they really did the cannon when they came off, and that was the talk of the festival that weekend. Oh no, what we've done.
So what Peter's saying, Ryan, is if you come up to the festival, then you have to make sure you know every tune name in history, just in case.
Just
and always go down with, I learnt this tune from Peter Wood. He says it's called.
But like the late Willie Hunter, he's one of these people that's got a music book out that absolutely every tune in his book is a cracker. Every single tune you would play and love it. And there's a lot of people bring tune books out, and you think you might find one or two really good tunes and things and whatever and blah blah blah. But Willie's one of the few that everyone's a beauty. You would just sit and play them all. It's just there was some great stories about them. Someone once told me way back in history, Ronnie Cooper was another famous composer up here. He wrote the tunes like Mill Bray and the Tusker and all these reels and things. And the two of them, Willie and him, used to play new tunes to each other as a judge to see what they thought of it. And apparently there was two answers. There was like, one answer was, "Oh, play that again," and that was good. And the other answer was, "Oh, well, it's always another tune, I suppose." That was the one that just got binned. Okay, that's that. So it was quite nice. So, but anyway, so traveling, you were saying earlier you're heading out on a wee American tour this year as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to Canada first, and then I'll be going around the States for around a month, I think.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, so very, very busy.
Jeez. You'll be speaking with a different accent by the time you get back after
that. Yeah. Well, I often get told I don't have an accent, kind of like what Davey said earlier.
Is the places, do you list all your gigs on the website? Is there places folk can jump on and see where you're going to be playing in America and things?
Yeah, so they will all be on my website at some point. It's kind of, I don't know exactly where they are yet, or some of them I'm not allowed to say quite yet. It's kind of,
okay. But the thing is that we do have an awful lot of listeners in Canada and North America, and I'm sure they'd be delighted to hear where you were, and possibly could get along to hear you. I'm sure they'd be delighted with that. And if you can't, folks, remember, jump onto Ryan's website and buy his first CD and pre-order the next one. That's it. Then that's one way you could do it. And you can also watch for Ryan on Facebook as well, because you have quite an active Facebook page going as well. He's one of these young musicians, Davey, that's got into the media.
Well, kind of.
Did we mention that we are 2-time nominees of the Trad Music and the Media Award, or the Young Trads? The Trad Award, even, not Young Trads. We mentioned that. No?
What, Uslot?
That's me, Uslot, yeah. Third time's the charm.
Yeah, brilliant. Right, listen, here we go. Here's another set of tunes with Dennis. We're just going to... Am I right saying that? Yes?
Yep.
Let's pile in, because it's wonderful hearing your music. Fantastic.
Here we go.
fantastic set of tunes, and fantastic to have it, isn't it? And have it on video so that you can always keep it. It's great.
Oh,
yeah. So you said earlier you kind of looked up to Ali Bain. You've played a few Jerry Holland tunes. Is there who other influences? What was your big influences? Do you think as players to listen to, as opposed to people teaching and instructors, etc.?
All of them. Is that
all of them? Everybody. Well, I had a pal that used to say, "Listen to everybody and steal all the good bits, and don't steal the bad bits." It'll be okay.
I play a lot of Scottish tunes, old Scottish tunes I find in books, but I listened to a lot of Irish fiddle players when I was growing up.
Right.
So it's kind of like I would claim a lot of the tunes as being Scottish tunes, but there might be a little bit of an Irish accent creeping into the way I play them. Because I'm a huge fan of Martin Hayes, who was Dennis. Well, yeah, he used to play with Dennis. It's Dennis's long-term dual partner.
Yeah.
So that's kind of partly what made playing with Dennis so special, because my fiddle playing hero used to play with Dennis.
Ah, yeah, it's great, isn't it? To just get a tune and the connection there again.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Did you play? Did you join in with a lot of sessions, etc., in Glasgow, etc., in the pubs?
Well, see, lots of the tunes that I play, lots of the tunes I play.
Davey, what did you do to me there, Davey?
I made you bigger.
Why?
Apologies.
I really don't need to make any bigger, honestly.
Sorry, my apologies, Ryan.
I always found that the sessions, maybe not now, but at one point in time, the sessions were very Irish influence on them. Kind of style thing. When you sat down, a lot of the tunes were played were Irish settings, etc.
Well, I think there are some sessions, well, especially in Glasgow. Like if you go to a session in Glasgow, I think you could go to a different session almost every night. So there'll be Scandi sessions, there's Irish ones for sure. There'll be sessions where there's lots of kind of more recently composed tunes, and there's definitely there's one I went to in the Aragon fairly recently where there's a fair few pipers in it. So you'd be hearing lots of 2/4s. There's lots of strathspeys and things getting played. So that was really, really nice.
Yeah. Do you enjoy pipe music and things like that as well? Then?
So most of the tunes I think people have heard in the videos so far, I would say, were pipe tunes. But I changed the key of them an awful lot so they can be played in like fiddle keys almost.
Okay. Yeah,
so like there were some very popular pipe tunes in there in past videos if anyone watches this back at all, like Caberfay. I played Caberfay earlier on. So yeah, a big pipe tune fan. Again, I like that kind of like the pipes only having 9 notes.
What key were you playing Caberfay on there then? Were you putting it onto A or?
Well, I played in the original key of like D mix kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, because the fiddle's got more notes than the pipes. It's kind of, you can jump up and down a bit more. But that's the thing I love about pipe tunes, I was going to say, is that like there are only 9 notes, but they're used so well to write like some of the best tunes. And it's kind of comes back to that thing about having like limitations in some ways is a very thing.
I think what amazes me about pipe music and that pipe scale is that there's still tunes coming through to this day in the traditional vein as well, not just all the modern round ones, but all the still traditional tunes, 6/8s, 2/4s, strathspeys, that are still coming through, and they're still sounding great. Again, there's some out of this 9-note combination. It's awesome.
Less is more, for sure.
Well, there you go. We were speaking about that earlier.
Which does suit your playing style of kind of the minimalist, and letting the melody do the work. Which brings on to our next video, which is Crossing the Alps. The Dornoch Links. Dornoch Links, that's a pipe tune, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
See? Thought it was. And this is with David Foley. And correct me if I'm wrong, is David Foley not a Baran player as well?
Yes, so David's a Baran player and he plays the flute too. So he
And
might
this is him
from Rura is the thing.
That's
Oh, yes,
what it is.
yes.
So
Yeah.
we're just going to jump straight into this one. Here we go. Cracking.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Sticking to your less is more theory, that works so good. There was spaces, the tunes were speaking, it was great. Fantastic. I wonder, see that first one, Crossing the Alps, is that the same tune as Bonaparte Crossing the Alps? Is that?
Yes, and it's because I've kind of combined Bonaparte Crossing the Alps and another tune, Bonaparte Crossing the Rhine, which I think is like the Scottish version and the Irish version.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Donald Links is, I mean, I suppose for me, the most famous one that I'd ever heard of Donald Links, Jimmy Shand used to play Donald Links.
Yeah.
His old button box, that was one that he made exceptionally famous. But I think it was a pipe major, John MacDonald or something, that wrote Donald Links. But it developed all over the world, just like you're saying. There's loads of Irish names for the tune. There was an American tune or song called Hazel Dean. They think it possibly came from Donald Links as well.
Yeah.
So it's just one of these universal things again. It's just. So, but anyway, listen, before we go, plans for this year, what are we planning? What's on the agenda?
Well, so there'll be the launch of this album around about March. That video actually kind of reminded me of something else that's coming up. So my second album was delayed for a long time, partially because I had some problems with my hand.
Oh.
Okay.
And I wasn't able to play for a good long time. And like that video we just saw there, that was actually kind of in the midst of my hand not actually working properly.
Okay. So what happened? How did that? What happened to your hand?
Well, it was something as routine as a trigger finger, not being diagnosed or looked at for so long that it just got really bad, and I couldn't actually move my fingers. But so that kind of delayed my album. But I'm kind of making a podcast all about how I ended up making the album in spite of this. And it's all about kind of speaking to people that helped me get through this and helped me get my operations and things to fix it. But it's also
is that similar to focal hand dystonia?
No, it's not. I don't think it's to do with dystonia.
Not as bad. That's fine. No, because that's what Stuart Casellas has. I thought it would be a similar thing. Okay, fantastic.
Well, it's like this kind of podcast thing. It's all about how like musicians have a true north, is what I think about. Like what they want to get from music and how. Like even if your hands don't actually deliver what it is you want, you can still be kind of pointing towards it, sort of thing. So the podcast is all about me trying to reach something, even though my hands wouldn't actually let me get there. And then when I got like an operation to fix them, I got closer to it, kind of thing, and just like this big journey surrounding that.
I have that problem. I have that problem sometimes too, that my hands won't do what I want them to do. But I don't think there's any operation in the world that would help me. So that's one of these things.
Decapitation.
But listen, so it's all going successfully then. So you're feeling good now.
Yeah, feeling good now. So I'm back playing a lot. So I'll be in America and Canada, around the East Coast, I think, for a month and a bit. I'll be in Germany, the Czech Republic, France. There's talks of Australia too. So.
Oh my goodness, you are certainly getting about.
Yeah. Well,
so when you tour, do you usually tour as a duo then?
Yeah, usually just fiddle and guitar. So.
Which is utterly perfect because it makes it easy to tour anywhere.
Well, I like playing in a duo because it lets stuff change as well. Like you might notice in the videos, I'm constantly kind of nodding at people and things like that, and it's because I don't know how many times I'm going to play a tune. So, like I just tell them what the tunes will be, and then I'll decide there and then how many times I'll play it. Because I don't want to say to them I'm going to play the tune 3 times, and then it might be kind of I might feel like I could play another couple, or I don't want to say 4 times, and then it's like I really can't play this again. So.
Yeah. But remember, you get to a point where if you're say we'll play this 3 times, and you do get kind of get lost in the moment, and you go into that fourth time, and it's a key change. It just sounds awful. So it's better to have that kind of fluid option where you're at, I'm going to play this tune and then this tune. Watch the signals.
Yeah. And like all the dynamics and things just kind of happen there and then, and it's different every time, and it's. But like I think you can do that in a duo, but not in a bigger band sometimes.
Yeah. But absolutely fantastic, and it is a good way to do it. I remember speaking to the Wrigley sisters from Orkney when they were touring, and they found it a really successful way to tour because they were getting bookings in places like Australia and things that big bands wouldn't get because one, just even the initial expense of getting you there, and then accommodation every night for a 5-piece band compared to a duo that could share one room, etc., all that kind of stuff. You know?
Yeah.
So it makes it user friendly and affordable. So, and I don't think actually, but you have to be a very special player to pull off that, and you are, and you can pull it off and hold a crowd and play with such feeling that the people are absorbing the whole thing. It can't work for everybody. You have to have a special bit of talent to do that, and you certainly have that. And you seem to be very careful who you pick as an accompanist, as you said before. It has to be somebody that you get that works, and you've got that kind of thing going on together, and it certainly works. But listen, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, thank you very much for having me.
It's been phenomenal having you on, and we're going to have another track with Jen Butterworth to finish off. And if it's anything like the first one we had there, folks, you're going to see a connection again because these two just sit and smile at each other when they're playing. It's just actually, David, you know something? They look like they like each other.
Don't know what that's like.
I've played in some bands where people don't like each other. That's tough. It's not good.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a good situation.
Exactly.
When you see a pint glass getting thrown from one side of the stage to the other, it's never a good situation to be in. But anyway, Ryan, listen, thanks very much. All the best. We'll tell the folks to, and listen, when that podcast comes out, will you let us know, and we'll advertise on the Tartan Tunes site.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I will do. And I just remembered quickly, if it's okay to say, I promised I would say about this. I'm playing in Comrie in February, which is on my website. So if anyone's round about Perthshire, do take a look, and it'd be great to see you in Comrie.
That's a lovely wee place, Comrie. Nice place.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ryan, thanks very much. Good health, great touring, and it's been fantastic having you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Ryan. Take care.
All the best. Bye for now.
That's the way to play a musical instrument. That's the way to be a person. That's everything. What a nice, humble, a great guy. What a wonderful guy. Lovely.
One of my favourite tunes played there as well.
Yeah. What one was that?
It's a Kate Breton tune called "The Night We Had the Goats."
Yeah, there you go. I think that man has just a wonderful career in front of him, and it's amazing when you hear him saying that about his hands, etc. And the thing there, sometimes I wonder if you become an even better musician because you appreciate so much what you can do once it comes back, and what you could have lost. Fantastic. I noticed Sandra had a big thing on there saying about the Wrigley sisters from Shetland. Well, they're from Orkney, Sandra. That's our neighbours, the Orkney Islands. And if they were telling stories about Shetland ponies, they're trying to steal our horses. That's probably,
which wouldn't be the first time.
No, that's why they're small. You
That's
can just steal them back. You can just put them under your arm and take them back.
We had a janitor down this way who's from Shetland. He's only 4 foot tall, so we call him Shetland Tony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dear me.
Yeah,
Aye, so next week is a special week for Peter.
Yeah, I had 3 gigs today, Davey. Next week, I've actually got 5 things on next Sunday. So what I'm doing is, it's up Heliah week, folks, next week in Shetland, in Lerwick, anyway, the Lerwick up Heliah.
It's the capital of Shetland.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, there is about 12 fire festivals in Shetland. The smaller communities have their own up Heliahs, etc. Scallow has had their fire festival already. But this is the kind of big one in Lerwick. Now, I think I'm playing every night from Saturday right through to Wednesday. And Tuesday night, we play all night. We play from 9 o'clock at night to about 8, 9 in the morning. So it's a 12-hour gig. All the squads from around the halls guising. 50 squads in total, so there'll be about 1,000 people going around the halls. It's pretty interesting. And next Sunday, what we're going to do, what I'm going to do...
No, what we're going to try...
What I'm going to try and do first, though, is I've got a meeting with a Swiss filmmaker that's over making a film all about Shetland and the music, and Brian and I are meeting him in Lerwick for lunch and maybe do some recording. Then we're going to do We're going to do the saxophone sessions, not from us next week. We're going to do it from the offices in Lerwick, from the spaceport offices.
Yeah,
this is the plan. Then I'm doing a gig in the lounge bar from 3 o'clock to 6 for the afternoon, because it'll be packed. It always is. This Sunday before up Heliah, all the squads are having their final meetings and working out their acts. Then I'm going to come on air at 8 o'clock, hopefully, with yourself, Davey, and I'll have my band there still sitting in the lounge, hopefully, and we'll do some live stuff for you from the lounge for Tapping Tunes next week. And then I have to do a gig from 9:30 to 12:30 again at night in the lounge. So we're going to try, aren't we?
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes, because we'll see how the sound goes with this platform. Because the other option is we could always, I can just go live on Facebook if I had to.
I think the platform would be fine, to be fair.
I think we'll be all right.
We'll just do this.
Yep. And I'll just have my and you'll be able to speak to the people, and I'll hopefully try and get the audience to refrain from swearing and taking their clothes off and that kind of stuff.
What we're saying now is those of a nervous disposition, be aware that next week we may have to put some warnings up. You might want to look away if there's naked men.
Didn't want to upset you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's more chance to be men dressed up as women, though. That's more like,
which is fine. There's no problem with that.
And a few Vikings in amongst it, So anyway.
Viking
right, so that's
men
what we're going to try next week. And it'll be a live one, folks, for the Lounge Bar in Lerwick, up Hellia Sunday. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be great fun.
Maybe a short show next week.
We'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens, folks. So that's 5 for me. So we'll see what happens. That'll be good. Anyway, Davey, have a wonderful week. The dog's yawning, so I think it's had enough of us.
No change there then.
Look at it. It's like, where are we going to go now? So there's Derek and everybody saying that. I hope it comes good, guys, that we can do the lounge. Because if that works, Davey, there's nothing to say that we don't start doing some live gigs here, there, and everywhere sometime.
Well, if it's good enough for McGregor's.
Exactly. That would be good. Right. Okay.
And on that note,
have we got anything else?
What we can do is we will announce the guest for the 5th of February.
Oh yeah, you can do that. So folk know in case it turns into a Stramash next week.
Yeah. So next on the 5th of February, we have the Gaelic singer from the Isle of Lewis and member of Skipperish. We have Norrie McKeever.
Fantastic.
So this will be a great evening. And we are fairly filling up for the foreseeable. A few new guests have come tonight, so that'll be good.
And we have another Gaelic singer coming on. I spoke to the other day, and he's dead keen to come on the show. Just to sort of date with him was Rory Gray. Remember Rory that won the Gaelic singer at the Trad Awards this week?
Yep.
Rory's keen to come on too, so that's good. We're covering our MG Alba Gaelic points. Yeah.
And it's only February.
Anyway, thanks very much, folks. Take care. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being a great audience. Take care. See you soon.
See you later.
Bye.